Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
All right, welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon. We connected over mutual love of some particular artists, but have some pretty different taste as well. But we get to experience new stuff from each other while inviting some friends along for the ride. And today we get to do both of those. Brandon gets to experience something new for him, and we have a friend along for the ride with us. Back with us for the second time is our friend Ty Garvey from the bands Jonezetta and Don Quixote's Horse. Ty, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh man, so good to be back. Thank you guys.
Yeah, this one's really fun because one of the things we like to do is when we have a guest on, Ty, we say, hey, what's one of your favorite records that you would like to talk about? And I remember texting you that when we were talking through this, and you were like, man, I just feel like it's got to be Five Iron Frenzy.
It does. It always has to be Five Iron Frenzy.
So this is going to be fun to kind of get into. So what album, Ty, are we going to be talking about today?
Today, this was a really tough choice for me. But I feel like the quintessential Five Iron Frenzy record is our newest album ever. And
All right.
So that's what we're going to do.
Awesome. So this is their second record. So yeah, it's going to be fun to get into that. Before we get into it, I have a little bit of a game for us to go through. And so this one today, this game is called Desert Island Student Ministry. Okay? Desert Island Student Ministry. And so here's what we're doing. If you were on a desert island with your youth group, and so think back in time,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Desert island with your youth group, and you're meeting, it's Wednesday night or whatever night you're meeting, and on that desert island, you were only allowed to play 3 Christian albums. What albums would you want those to be playing in the background of your student ministry back in the day? Desert Island Student Ministry.
So are we going with the years? Like for me, I'm going with like a...
Yes, your student ministry
Okay.
days, yeah. I mean, you can pick something from later if you want to, but...
I feel like me now really thinks about this, but I'm going to be completely honest. If me from, I think, yeah, about 2011, 2012, my friend Keith and I were in charge of our youth group. So if you're talking to 2011, Brandon, I'll make this really easy.
Okay, awesome.
The End Is Not the End, House of Heroes.
Killer record.
We're going word of mouth, John Rubin, and I would go Portable Sounds, Toby Mac.
I knew that it was going to be House of Heroes, John Rubin, and Toby Mac. How did I know that? It's amazing.
Maybe if there's a fourth one, we're throwing in Family Force 5, Business Nut Front Party in the back. But I feel like that one is a little edgy for youth group.
That's funny. Ty, any thoughts?
Man, I'm trying to think like back to high school and youth group. I mean, it definitely would have been a Five Iron Frenzy record. You can take your pick. I feel like the one that sort of dominated us at that time was the Proof the Youth Are Revolting, the live record.
Yeah.
That one.
I'm a background vocalist on that record, by the way.
Ooh, nice.
You can find my name in the liner notes.
I mean, probably the Fundamental Elements of Southtown.
Yes.
POD. And I don't know, man. I might go like probably like a Blindside record or Project 86, maybe.
Ooh. That's cool. And you got to meet one of those guys later. I love that. Yeah. So I'm older than both of you, but not as much older than Ty. So I think in my youth group, probably back in the day, the heavy hitters would have been. One that we played a lot was the second Sixpence None the Richer record, This Beautiful Mess, which I think, man, still just holds up beautifully. So I'm going to throw that one out there. I think I'll put in an MXPX record. And so I'm going to go with slowly going the way of the Buffalo for that one, because I remember listening to that record on like a trip to camp one time, my little CD player. I didn't think about this ahead of time either. That's why I'm struggling. And then probably the first 5 Iron Frenzy record, Upbeats and Beatdowns. So I think those are the ones that I'm going to go with. So good choices, guys. Really good stuff. So if you ever find yourself on a desert island and you can only listen to 3 albums, I don't know if those would be the ones that you would still listen to. Brandon, maybe for you, but all right. Let's talk a little bit about what we've been listening to lately. And so I'll start us off and then you guys can go from there. One of the things that I've been listening to as of late is, you guys know Andrew Peterson?
Yeah.
He's like Christian music guy. So a few years ago, he did a live concert of the songs of Rich Mullins. And he covered, like half the show was just random Rich Mullins songs, and the last half of the show was a total track by track cover of Rich Mullins' record, A Liturgy, a Legacy, and a Ragamuffin Band, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. Highly recommend it. So anyways, he did a Kickstarter a while back to take this album, and they had recorded it live, but basically to take the live recording they had and fix it up and get it to a releasable state. And so, but a couple of weeks ago, they released it onto streaming for the first time. And so it's called A Liturgy, a Legacy, and the Songs of Rich Mullins. And it's so good. It's not just Andrew Peterson singing the whole time. He's got other artists who are up there with him. But I highly recommend it. Even though my wife, I was listening to it the other day, and she's like, "Can we just listen to the Rich Mullins version?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably better." But that's great. So I spent a lot of time with that one.
For me, I've got 2. I've been listening to Gable Price and Friends released another single called "Why Do You Love Me," and I think right now they might be my favorite active band. I'm really interested to see my Spotify Wrapped, because I think it's neck and neck between them and Colony House, because I discovered both of them this year, and it's been just on repeat. And then the 21 Pilots album, Breach, they released. I have this habit of 21 Pilots that usually the first time I listen through it, I don't really care for it, and then it takes time to get used to it.
Yeah.
I think it's just because they change so much with stuff. And so I've kind of just been waiting till I had time that I could sit down and really just enjoy it. And so finally this past weekend, I had time to sit down and just kind of take it all in, and I've enjoyed it. So
Good deal. That's awesome.
Nice.
Ty, what about you, man?
Man, my things are things that just came out today. Young Oceans had a new record that dropped today. They're a worship band that I've been a big fan of for several years now. I think their songs are just beautiful. And just the sonic landscape they create behind the songs is equally as beautiful. Good stuff to listen to. And then not in a Christian world, but in a world very near and dear to my heart, Jimmy Eat World put out a new song today called Failure, and it's really great. Like, it's excellent. I'm happy to hear a good Jimmy Eat World song.
Dude, that's awesome. I haven't heard that yet, but I got an email about it, and it was an email telling me that there is a vinyl release of that and some other songs. And so without listening to it, I pressed buy, and it's coming to my house at some point, and I'm super excited
Ships
about
November
it.
14th is what my email said.
So I will definitely be listening to that on the way home. Can't wait.
It's
gonna
good.
be awesome.
It's good.
That's
It's good.
great. That makes me even the more excited. which is so cool. That's great. I love it. All right, well, let's transition in and talk about this 5 Iron Frenzy record. So I'm going to give us a little bit of a bio that I pulled from online. This one's kind of interesting. So our newest album ever is the second full-length studio album released by the band 5 Iron Frenzy. Its street date was November 11th, 1997 on 5 Minute Walk Records. The cover was drawn by Douglas Tin Naple, the guy who created the Earthworm Jim comics. Despite the band's religious label, however, 5 Iron's approach to issues was perceived as relevant and non-preachy. One reviewer compares the effect to the lyrics of Steve Taylor, commenting that 5 Iron Frenzy should be known as the thinking person's ska outfit.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too. All right, so let's talk about 5 Iron. Just this first time that we've covered this band, I've maybe mentioned them almost every episode so
I
far.
feel like it's close to every episode.
And so Brandon is probably like, what in the world is, yeah. So I'm super interested to get his thoughts. But Ty, why don't you kick us off? Like, what's your history with 5 Iron Frenzy?
Yeah, so one of my best friends that I talked about last episode, Drew Mellon, who kind of introduced me to the world of Christian music. He showed me 5 Iron for the first time. I think we were on a road trip from Nashville back to Jackson. We were driving his sister's car from Nashville to Jackson, and he put on "Quantity Is Job One" EP, and that was my introduction to the band. And I almost immediately fell in love with them, and I was already like really interested in ska at the time. I was already a Supertones fan and Insiders and those bands. But then when I heard 5 Iron, I felt like they were just on a different level, and still feel that way. Nothing against the Insiders or the Supertones, but 5 Iron is just on a completely different level to me. Yeah, and just quickly fell in love with everything. The sort of deepness of the lyrics, how upfront their faith was, but also their just sort of unapologetic mentality of challenging the church or America or any of those things. Like, it was just so punk rock. And as a guy who was like very into Rage Against the Machine before I was a Christian, and still am very much into Rage Against the Machine, but like they're sort of more charged lyrics like really kind of got me amped up for sure. And just made me fall deeper in love with them. We covered in my ska band that I was in, our first band, We're Not Ugly, we covered Where Zero Meets 15, which is from Beats and Beatdowns. And then we were gonna cover Beautiful America, which is also from Beats and Beatdowns, but our trombone player at the time refused because he thought it was like too against America, and he's like, I'm not gonna be a part of it, and so we ended up not covering it. But it was but they were a band that I just became obsessed with quickly and sort of just never stopped being obsessed with them, or like I never stopped loving them. Like there are a lot of bands from those days that I put on a record of theirs now, and I'm just like, I can't even really make it through the whole thing. But 5 Iron I celebrate their entire catalog. I love everything.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like all the healthy cynicism that I have in my life comes from Reese Roper lyrics.
I think that's fair.
That I was able to learn to think critically, in a big way because of their music, and just being able to listen and say there's an opportunity to think about things, topics and issues like in different ways than everything that I've always thought growing up. But yeah, so for me, I think the first Five Iron Frenzy song I ever heard was Where Zero Meets 15, on a Take Time to Listen sampler from 5 Minute Walk Records. And from the moment I heard it, I was just like, this is unlike anything that I've ever heard before. And even in a song like that, to hear a band tackle like homelessness, I'm just like, they're talking about things that like nobody else in the Christian music industry is like willing to like have a conversation about. And they continue to do that.
Yes.
Which has been really fun. Just to follow. So yeah, this record for me, like, I love it. I think it's great. Brandon and I were talking a little bit earlier, and I'm like, if I had to pick, like, this is the quintessential Five Iron Frenzy record, I don't honestly know if I could do it. Because I just love, like, I love all of it.
Yes.
And there are probably like 6 songs on every Five Iron Frenzy record that I'm just like, man, this is one of the greatest songs ever. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
And they're all good, but like, there's like 6 songs on every record that I'm like, yes, this one. And so I'm like, I put together like not too long ago a playlist of just like all my favorite Five Iron Frenzy songs, and so like that's my favorite Five Iron Frenzy record. But yeah, this is a great one. All right, Brandon, for you, this is brand new. Do you have any history with this band at all?
Brandon, before you say anything,
Yeah.
I want to sort of say like how sort of scared I am for what Brandon's about to say. But also just because I feel like Five Iron is, I mean, they're different than any other ska band, but they're also very much a ska band.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like ska is just it's like a very polarizing sort of genre of music.
Yeah.
That like either you love it or you just absolutely hate it. And so I don't know. I'm like scared that Brandon's gonna be like, yeah, this is trash.
And they are a little bit of a different take on ska.
100%.
Like
They don't sound like any other ska band.
the Supertones and the Insiders are more traditional, like
Yes.
whatever wave ska band this was, and Five Iron's like a kind of a punk ska, like ska hybrid kind of thing. But yeah,
I'll say, so going into this, from hearing from Joel and everyone else, I went into this thinking, oh, cool, I get to see a more serious version of the OC Supertones. There's no filler. There's none of this silliness. I'm going to get like a Me Without You level. Like each song is like you're sitting down and like combing through all the little hidden treasures on there. So I will say, going into this album, I had this idea of, oh man, this is going to be no nonsense.
but it's a ska album, Brandon.
I will say too, like, we'll get in more into this, but I will say that I listened through it once, and Joel had recommended, hey, I think you should listen to it another time through. And I think that listening through it the second time through, I did enjoy it so much more than the first time through, knowing what to expect. So I think that as a listener, had I listened to it once, I think there would have been more of a, oh, I did not get what I was expecting. But knowing what to expect, I went into a lot of the songs knowing, okay, this is a silly song. So it's not, oh, I would say I was angry. I was never angry with the album, but it's like, okay, I can now, like, I know what they're going for, so now I can appreciate it. And we talk a lot about, there's so many of these, like the Stephen Chris Chapman album we did. Like, it's hard for me as someone who was born in 1992 to know the full context of an album like that. And so that's something I appreciated, was that having that second listen through, there was more of a, okay, I see the merits of this, instead of being like, they think this is good music. Okay.
So it's going to be a fun journey to kind of dig into
Mm-hmm.
this for sure. But
I feel like that's a not a surprising assessment. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of someone in their 30s listening to Five Iron Frenzy for the first time.
yeah.
You know, granted, like I was 15 when I first heard this, and so like the way I received it is very different than I would have received it had I been your age.
That's so
my
true.
age.
Well, I know, like, whenever I explain to people, I'll say, hey, you can choose the music. And they're like, no, you can put whatever you want to on it. I'll say, listen, one of my favorite albums is about a circus train that derails, and all the animals is talking about like life and faith and like the girl they liked back in like high school. And so, like, jumping into it, I love that Me Without You album. But if someone didn't know, they would be like, so it's a rabbit singing to me right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I was about to say there's some pretty goofy Me Without You stuff out there too.
Oh,
so-
for sure. For sure.
And if we have to think critically about this, your favorite song on that Stephen Curtis Chapman record was Got to Be True.
That's true.
Which is the goofiest song on that album. So let's just create some space for goofiness and realize that it's going to be part of any ska album. But really just tone in. I think for me, like I was trying to think through, I'm like, Brandon, so one of my favorite 5-iron records is what's called 5-Iron Frenzy 2, Electric Boogaloo, which is just a super
Which is like their
goofy-
5th record.
Yeah. But it's the record where they're like, no, we're going to be like a rock band. And so literally there's a picture in the album of all their horns, like in a pile on fire or whatever. But there are songs on there that are like super serious, like
Yeah.
songs that I think like you would totally love. But then there's also really goofy songs on that album. You just can't escape the goofiness.
What would y'all say? I don't know if this is better answered for ska in general or for like 5-iron or whatever. But like, there's a lot of comments about, oh, you should expect some silliness with ska. If someone releases a ska album and there's 10 tracks on there, like, is it typically something where you should expect it to be like a half and half of stuff that is a little more serious and then is silly, or what kind of is that ratio?
I don't know. I mean,
Like, if I was
and
making a
half is-
ska album, is there a rule that it's like, Brandon, you got to put at least 4 goofy songs on here?
I mean, I think it depends on the band.
Mhm.
I definitely feel like 5-iron probably leaned into the silliness more than a lot of bands. But I mean, their serious songs were so good
Yeah.
that it balances it out
Mhm.
nicely, I think. In 5-iron's later records, like their newest record, Until It Shakes Apart, I don't think there's anything silly on there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the record before that, Engine of a Million Plots, Battle Dancing Unicorns is kind of a silly song, but outside of that one, it's a very serious record.
I gotcha.
And a very great record as well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like when I was really into ska, the bands that sort of refused to do silliness were never very fun listens to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's 3
Mhm.
like just silly songs on this record.
Yeah.
And I think there are other songs that are serious songs that have some silliness mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then I think that there are a few serious songs
Yeah.
on this
Yes.
too. And I feel like that's probably a pretty good balance of what you're going to get with 5-iron.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with the exception of like their last 2 records, I
Yeah.
feel like any other record
Mhm.
prior to their breakup in 04, like that's probably going to be pretty close to what you get.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and maybe not as true for like a Supertones or
Yeah.
whatever, but all right. Well, I say we just kind of get into this. And
Okay.
so we're going to be talking track by track through our newest album ever by 5-Iron Frenzy. And if you're listening to this, you're welcome to pull up a different device and start playing, so you can listen along as we talk through this, since we legally can't play these songs for you. So track 1 off of our newest album ever is Handbook for the Sellout. What are thoughts you guys have on this one?
I not so going into this and not knowing what to expect, I really like this as an opener.
Yeah.
It got me excited about the album, and it was a track that I loved both times through. So knowing like what I was like getting into, like I enjoyed it, but also not knowing what to expect, I enjoyed it. And it like it got me excited for the rest of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this is a great opener. Just a wonderful song. I felt like I was also, as I was listening, I listened to this record probably 5 times in preparation for this. But in listening to it and kind of knowing Brandon's sort of like how much he likes openers, or how much he wants an opener to be, how the importance he places on openers.
Yeah.
I felt like Brandon was going to like this one. Because it's a great opener. It's a super good song. The message of the song is super interesting. Both something I've felt people like place upon myself, but also like something that I've been guilty of doing as well in the past, like just kind of gatekeeping and things like that. An interesting note I had for this song is that the song is halfway over on runtime before you get to the chorus, before you get to the first chorus, which is pretty crazy. It kind of bucks that Tom Petty like mentality of like, don't bore us, get to the chorus. Five Iron was like, no, we'll get there eventually, halfway through the song. I love this song.
It's a great one. I think this was like the first single off the record. And so I remember
had a music video for it.
Yeah, they made a music video with a giant blew up King Kong or something.
King Kong, yeah.
Which was fun. I'm pretty sure that this song was written about MXPX. If my memory serves me well, that they saw like a lot of MXPX fans getting mad that MXPX was getting popular and thinking like, no, this is like our band in the underground. Like you can't have them, when Chick Magnet was like a hit and it's played on MTV and all this kind of stuff. People were like upset about that. And so I think it takes a lot of guts for a band. So Ty, you experienced this a little bit putting out a second record. This is Five Iron's second record. And so this, people say all kinds of things about a second album, but it's kind of like, this one's the make or break. Like, can you pull off this like second album thing? Or are you going to have a second album slump or whatever it may be? And so for them to kick off their second record, basically like calling out their fans, I feel like is a pretty gutsy move as a band. Just being able to say, you guys are kind of dumb.
Yeah. It's insanely gutsy, but also like the song's so good the fans can't help but be like, they can't be like, oh yeah, he's right.
Yeah. Also listen to it thinking through like immediately when it hits after listening to Upbeats and Beatdowns, that the production's just like miles ahead of that first record, which is really nice. And I think it gets even better throughout their career.
100%.
But it was nice to have a big step up on this. And there's just there's a line in the song that I love so much. Sunk your worth in being different just to be like your own kind. And I remember feeling really called out by that. And maybe still do some. So, yeah.
Our next track is Where Is Micah? Ty, how do you feel about Where Is Micah?
Man, this song, I love this song. I mean, I love all these songs, so that's what I'm going to say for all of them. But I guess my notes on this song is that like the first thing I wrote down was like, this is classic Five Iron Frenzy silliness, kind of on full display here. For some reason that when he starts on the bridge, that like we've got a roll of duct tape for the next time he tries to run away. Like when he starts singing that line, I love that melody so much. Like just that vocal melody does something to me, like emotionally for some reason. And then of course, like the line itself just makes me laugh. Like the visual of them like trying to tie up Micah with the duct tape and stuff. It's just so funny to me. And I just want to say the horn part at the beginning, once everybody kind of comes in, it's a very difficult horn part to pull off. It's tough. They kind of crushed it on this track.
Yeah, I think it's a great one. Obviously, this is one of the goofy songs on the record, but they'll do this occasionally where they like write a song about a member in the band. Like I think on It's Quantity on the next one where they have the untimely death of Brad. which, man, is such a great song.
Oh man, the song is so good.
But Where's Micah is kind of the birth of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it builds into the untimely death of Brad. But yeah, I think it's a super fun song, and I'm like, there's some things that they say about duct tape and Micah, it's time for your beating, where I'm just kind of like, okay. That's interesting. Brandon, you love this song.
I think this was the first time listening through. This is when I realized, wait, I don't think that this band is what I think they are. The second time through, it was better in understanding. Like, okay, because I told Joel that when I was listening in the car, I first thought it was saying like, where did my God go? So I'm listening to the lyrics thinking, oh, this must be some deep song about like concerts, or like we need God like at our show or something. And then I'm like, wait, who's the Micah guy? He's what? So it made, when I listened to this, I think I would appreciate it more maybe if it was like an interlude between ones. But I think it's like not knowing the humor of the band. Like it felt like a joke that, like a gag that just went on a little too long, I guess. Like that's my take, not knowing the band. And I guess not knowing ska is like I thought. But like it sounds like, though, if you appreciate ska, then it is. Because like some of my favorite comedians are the ones that like they'll tell a joke and it never resolves. And I think that's the funniest thing, when it's like, oh, this is so funny because it's not funny. So it made me, I think it goes back to the more you listen and the more you're in the band. Because like I was a band back in the day that when a CD came out, like I never bought it digitally because I wanted to get to the lyric booklet, and I wanted to look through, and like I felt like I got to know the band more. Because like Hawk Nelson, they would have like a board game with their booklet, or you read the little stuff. And so it feels like a band that, like, if I've been listening to this band for 10 years, I am appreciating like a lot more of the little insider stuff.
Yeah.
But I think not having that background, that's where some of the stuff, it kind of like just suffered like a little bit on there.
All right, let's look at track 3, Superpowers. So I love Superpowers. I think it's probably one of my favorite songs on the record. I was listening to this. So side take on Five Iron Frenzy. My 12-year-old daughter struggles to listen to a lot of music that I like, but for whatever reason, I feel like Five Iron Frenzy is just perfect for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And so she loves Five Iron. In fact, she really wants to guest on the podcast when we cover like a different Five Iron record.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Her favorite one is Quantity's Job 1. But anyways, we were listening to Superpowers in the car the other day, and she just like kept laughing over like some of the lyrics that Reese is throwing out. But yeah, I feel like this is such a good song. Just like making fun of like the whole like band thing, and like that we're cooler than everybody else, and we've got this mystique, and we're awesome. And just being able to say, no, we're pretty gross, and like we all need to take showers. And why do you think we're awesome? Like, and he talks about an autograph in here, and like Reese would not sign autographs for people, just because he's like, there's nothing special about me. I'm just a person. And so I just love their heart. And Five Iron was the best band that I had ever experienced. In the fact that after their concerts, they would hang out as long as anybody else wanted to stick around and hang out. And every single one of them was having conversations with people, praying with people. Like, they always were just putting themselves on the level of everybody that was at their show. And so I think this song just captures that like feeling about them really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think, um, first off, I think this song is like the perfect description of like tour. Like,
Yeah.
like everything he says in the silliness of it, I was like, no, that's exactly what tour is like. Like, and when I was a band that was touring a lot, and people would be like, "Oh, you're living the dream," and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm living the dream for about 35 minutes a night when we're on stage. I was like another 23 and a half hours a day. It was pretty gross and like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think this is a perfect description of that. And yeah, and just sort of their sort of way of like self-deprecating to just try and get you to not elevate them, is a cool thing. I just feel like the lyrics of the song, like apart from the silliness, like Reese kind of shows how well read he is. With just like references to Holden Caulfield and Jack Kerouac and stuff like that, and it's a great song.
Yeah, I love that the melodies on the song are good. It's super catchy. But I love that it's like this happy, goofy, almost kind of thing. But then they hit the bridge and there's this like really distinct shift in tone that happens. And he's still talking about the same kinds of things, but it's like Reese is like pulling me in and saying, no, seriously, like I wanted to be famous, but now I want to take it back. Like, and there's just something about that shift that happens that I just feel like he's like drawing me in. It's a great song.
Yeah, I think with this one, how I felt like the other one worked better as an interlude. This one, this is another one of the songs I appreciate so much more on the like second listen through, and kind of echoing what y'all said, I always appreciated and gravitated towards the bands that were just really honest and could poke fun at them or their fame. Because for me growing up, I just feel like a lot of the bands, there was this like fakeness whenever a band kind of led into, oh, I am a big deal or whatever.
Yeah.
So like for me, I really appreciated just the like look and like the sarcasm of it. And I think too, it worked better because maybe like comparing it to the Micah, maybe another way to describe it is I felt like everyone else is laughing and I'm not getting like the joke. Whereas in this one, I felt like I'm looking and then thinking, I get it too. I'm with you guys. I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed this track.
Yeah. Reese's ability to like take what is a pretty serious topic but make it humorous, but yet still get the like weight of his point across is just such a gift in songwriting. And yeah, I think he's one of my favorite songwriters.
Agreed.
Well, how did you feel about the next track, Fistful of Sand?
Fistful of Sand, I think, is the first track that I heard off of this album because I think they put a live version of it on a sampler before this record came out. And I don't know why they would do things like this, but the live version of this, like, there were only like half of the lyrics were written. And so I feel like he's just like making noises a lot of the way through it. But I still like, I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. Like, it's 5 Iron, but it was underwritten, and so it's weird that like 5 Minute Walk would release that. But yeah, this was such a different song than anything on the first album. So when I heard this, I was like, this is really interesting. I think a few different things shine on this song for me though that began to stand out. Like one, it showcases like the bass playing on the album, which I think is so good the whole way through, but you just really get to like hone in on it here, which I think is cool. I also like nobody plays like the ska upstroke as well as 5 Iron does.
No,
I don't know how
it's unique to them.
I don't know how you make it sound like they make it sound.
Yeah, I have no clue. I've never heard a ska band that does it the way they do it.
Everybody
and it
else is
doesn't
just
make
like
sense
duh,
to me.
duh, 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 and they're like
Yeah.
it's like this different.
Yeah, there's like a gallop to it
Yeah.
that is it's very unique for them.
It is. That probably sounds like such a weird note for somebody that doesn't listen to ska music.
Yeah.
But
I'm just nodding, going, "Oh yeah, I definitely yes."
but it stands out as well on this, but it's in all their songs whenever they have like a ska beat. But yeah, and then you've got this like crazy like breakdown, which is like way heavier than anything they had done like at this point, and you're just like, huh. That's pretty interesting. But I feel like there's a couple of songs on this book on this record that remind me of the Book of Ecclesiastes, and I feel like this is one of them. Like the message of the song like comes like straight out of Ecclesiastes, so it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me it's I feel like this song kind of really showcases this sort of versatility of this band and like kind of what they're able to accomplish musically, but still like remain in their genre. This song's great. I love it, and I love how heavy it gets. I love just sort of like the atmosphere it builds. It's great.
Yeah.
I the first time through, this was like the first time I was like, okay, this is what I'm expecting.
Okay.
And you know what's funny is the second time through, I enjoyed it. Because I really like how it showcases like the bass in it. But I think too, it made me appreciate the kind of sillier songs, because then I thought if I would have gotten what I expected, like I don't know if I would have enjoyed like a whole album of just
Fistful of Sand.
Yeah, Fistful of Sand. And so, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and I appreciated that it was something different. Like it was a changing of kind of the sound on here.
Yeah. I think it's a great one. All right, guys. Well, let's talk about then track number 5, Sucker Punch. What do you guys think about this one?
What do you think about it, Ty?
Man, I mean, I love this song. I mean, I love all these songs, but I think in my notes, what I have written down, I think the opening guitar riff is just great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like this song really encapsulates this like weird combination of the silliness of this band, but then it also like speaks very vividly. I mean, or not very, speaks very deeply to me. And I feel like there's just a lot of like the lyrics to this song, I have like very like vivid memories tied to like every line in this song. You know, like every line like produces like a new memory for me. And yeah, this song rules.
Yeah, I love this one too. I think that it's like I think it's probably one of the like catchier songs on the album, and it's like funness. I think the melodies are really good. But I also just love like the message for, I mean, it feels like God's kingdom is a place for everybody, and for people that the world would look down on and say, you're a loser or you're left out or whatever it may be. That God doesn't look at you and feel that way about you. And I know, for me, like hearing that for the first time, like I got a lot of hope and encouragement out of it. And so, I just love the hope that's there for people.
I think it's a song that when you're going through like high school, it's super relatable. Because I think for me, like hearing it now, it's not a bad song. Like it feels like a song you'd expect from like a group of like ska band members. I was trying to think of how to say that without it sounding like it's like, oh, it's like, but you get what I'm saying. Like if you were to write down, here's what you expect to hear on like a ska album.
Sure.
And so like, yeah, I feel like it wasn't something that like stood out, but it also wasn't anything that like, you know, I agree. I feel like it was catchy. It was like good there. I like too when songs like have this like natural progression. So it's not just this like starts at the beginning where everything's happy, but it's like this, oh, I'm getting picked on, blah, blah, blah. But then like there's a change at the end of it. So I always appreciate whenever a song has this kind of like story element instead of just like spoiler, everything's going to be good by the end of this.
Yeah, yeah. It's this thing that Five Iron does where they blend like a silly song with like a hopeful and meaningful message. And that's such a challenge, I feel like, for bands to do. And they just have always balanced that so well. So I love that one.
So moving on to the next one, Kitty Doggy. I feel like what I'm about to say, I don't know if it's going to be like a ice cold take or hot take or whatever. But the first listen through, I was to the point to where, like I said, I was expecting it to be like all these like very serious things, touching on issues in the world and all. And in my original notes, it was just every song was like, I was expecting more. And so it got to Kitty Doggy, and my words were, I know I've just been ranting a lot about how this album is not like serious, but I love this song. And I'll be honest, I feel like there are songs on here that like the second or third listen through, I've appreciated so much more. But this song from the very beginning, I love so much. I have sang it so much, which probably it makes me sound crazy when I'm just walking around singing Kitty Doggy everywhere. But I love this track. So
That's so funny. Wait till you hear When I Go Out.
Yeah. It's funny. Our notes are very similar. I just have one note for this song, and it's just the word perfect. That's all I wrote. I was like, this song is perfect. I have a very vivid memory of the first time I heard this song. I was in my friend Drew Mellon's bedroom, and we were like 15, and we were listening through this album for the first. He knew this album, but like I was listening through it the first time. I had just recently become a Five Iron fan, and through the Quantity is Job 1 EP, and when this song came on, like I just remember rolling around on his bedroom floor laughing so hard, and I like couldn't catch my breath. And man, I love this. I love it.
Yeah, I have one word written down, and it's yes. So I don't think there's much more to say about Kitty Doggy. So
Glad we're on a consensus with Kitty Doggy.
let's talk about track number 7, Blue Comb 78. Ty, I'd love your thoughts on Blue Comb.
This one, my first note for this song is, so like last song, my only note for Kitty Doggy was the word perfect. The first note I have for this song is seriously perfect. Like I love this song so much, for so many reasons, but I think musically it's just great. It's so fast when they get fast. Like I can't play that fast.
Yeah, I love the punk rock of it.
Yeah, the punk rock of it is so fast. The juxtaposition. I constantly have the live version of this song from the Proof the Youth Are Revolting album in my head, where he's talking about grabbing someone next to you and slow dancing. This is your chance and all this stuff. And then I also wrote the line, it was the last great symbol of my youth. I'm like, man, how devastating is that line? Like, it's like the last great symbol of your youth occurred when you were 5 years old. Like you have a lot of youth left, but there's no more great symbols of it after that comb gets thrown out the window, which is, it's funny, but it's also pretty devastating.
Yeah, that story of like having to grow up too fast, just because of walking through hard stuff with your family, and it's told in such a silly kind of way. But like the loss of his parents' marriage and other stuff just told through like a metaphor of a comb that his sister threw out the window. Yeah, it's cool. It's one of my favorite songs on the record. I also think it's funny that Five Iron eventually started selling blue combs, but at their shows, but they also were like gifted thousands upon thousands of blue combs over the course of their career because have you seen my comb? So people were bringing them. And they famously said at their last show that they wish the name of the song was "Have You Seen My Dollar?" They wish they had made that choice. It said that would have worked out a lot better for them. But yeah, I think it's funny. I too love I love the like slow like drama of it in the beginning, and then just the breakout into punk rock. I think it's a great one.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Joel kind of explained the song a little bit to me, because I didn't get like that was a metaphor. So I after I guess like the other humor, I thought the whole song was about like the comb, and I was like, why is he being so like serious or dramatic about the comb? But then when Joel started explaining like, no, here's what the comb means, I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I was like, I think this is like, I explained to like Joel that I feel like it's a band that the more you like listen to and know, you appreciate more. And I think that's like, that's almost like to the detriment sometimes. I don't know if I've mentioned that before on this like review, that it's like, I know bands are the same way, that people will say, what song should I listen to? Or what album should I jump into? And I'm like, I don't know where to tell you to go to, because the band's all over the place. So it's more of like, well, if you just have 6 hours, here's the 6 albums you should listen to of theirs. Or it's like a TV show that some are good from the very beginning, and other ones are like, hey, if you can just make it through season 2, season 3 is when it really like gets good.
Yeah.
And I think that like, that's what I got. But I feel like after getting the explanation, so maybe that's just what we need to start doing, is like a commentary one. So maybe like y'all two can maybe sit down and come up with like a commentary for each one. So
Yeah. I love it. I love it. It's a
I
great
do.
one.
I have one more thing I want to say. This is a small sort of production note.
Yeah.
It's not even really a production note, but Joel, you had commented earlier in the episode about how this record was like a good step up in production from the first record. And I don't know, man, when I was listening to this song in preparation, when that kick drum first comes in at the beginning of the song, my like first thought was like, man, that kick drum sounds incredible. Like it just sounds so good. It's like perfect. And that's, doesn't make a difference here, there, or anything, but it sounded so good that I wanted to mention how good that kick drum sounded.
Yeah,
at the
it's
beginning of
great.
that track.
And it's one of the few places on that record where it has the place to stand out.
Yeah, for
which is
sure.
cool. Yeah.
we move on to Banner Year. Joel, what were your thoughts on Banner Year?
Yeah, I think Banner Year is great. It's one of like a few songs that they have about Native Americans and this idea of manifest destiny.
Yeah.
And so this was a super important issue for Five Iron, and one that I feel like honestly really drew my attention to it for I don't know about the first time in my life, but really highlighted it for me in a meaningful way. And I feel like as a high schooler, when I started listening to them, it's songs like this that gave me like a nuance for looking at history, especially American history, and realizing that it's not all like rosy and beautiful, but that we made some mistakes, and it's obviously a picture too for the church that we've made some mistakes in the name of Jesus before. But it's musically not my favorite song on the record, but I think the message of it is so good, and just highlighting the kingdom of God versus the kingdom of this nation.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. Like a line like, "See the empty pole above his empty grave. A piece of cloth can't hold your faith." I do feel like at like a formative time in my life, this helped me begin to like parse out like where my allegiances like really needed to be, and resting in Christ and in his kingdom. Yeah, I love it. I love this song.
What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I tend for all that stuff Joel said. The theme of kind of what we did to Native Americans definitely pops up a lot for this band over their entire discography. And yeah, like Joel said, like I feel like for me as a young person hearing this, it did a really good job of recentering me. That line at the end of the pre-chorus that you mentioned, Joe, like a piece of cloth can't hold your faith. Like, I just think I don't think that line ever becomes irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's at least not in America. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's something that, if as Christians, we need to keep at the forefront of our mind, at all times. And yeah, I agree with you, Joe. Like, the song is, if the lyrics weren't so good, this would almost be like a skip over song for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the lyrics are too good for me to skip it. Like,
Yeah.
and kind of what it makes me think about is something I need to hear all the time. And yeah, it's too good for me to skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the lyrics of it. I really like the story they're telling, and I think that when you are specific with something, you run the risk of kind of like, you don't cast that big of a net. Like, I think of House of Heroes. Like, I love The End Is Not the End. But like, there's some people that when you say, yeah, this is a whole album about like people's stories from World War II, you're going to lose a lot of people by being like, I remember they were on like the Toby Mac and Skillet tour, and they were like, people showed up to be like, man, you got Toby's hip hop, you got Skillet's rock and roll, and then you've got this like band singing about World War II. And so I feel like it's a risk, but I also feel like it is cool when it's not this vague, like, who or what are they talking about, but you can see directly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I always appreciate when a band takes that risk.
Yeah, that's good. All right, track number 9 is Second Season. What do you guys think about Second Season?
For me, like, I enjoyed the slowdown. I think for me, like, I put down the notes that maybe this is what I was expecting a little bit more, like from the album, just before I heard anything from it. But yeah, I feel like it was nice to kind of have just this like little slow down break moment in there.
Yeah, if this song had a skip track for me, which it doesn't, but if it did, this would probably be it. I don't know, man. Like, I like Dennis Culp a lot. I think he has a good voice. Objectively, I think it's great. But there's something about because he sings other songs on other records sometimes, and there's something about his voice that just doesn't really do it for me. And I can't really explain that. I have the same feeling whenever he sings like a Brave Saint Saturn song on that side project of theirs. But I think he's good for sure. And I think also on Dennis songs, his lyrics for me kind of straddle this line of being really, really good, and then also really just kind of cheesy, but not cheesy in like a funny way, just like oh, it's kind of cheesy. And so yeah, I don't love this song, but again, I love all these songs. So yeah, but this one's probably my least favorite on the record.
Yeah, there's some cool guitar work that's happening. I feel like the slowdown, kind of the more like swing big band like feel of it, creates space for like some things to like shine a little bit, but it also probably puts some other stuff on display too that in the air of it. Yeah, I don't dislike this one. I think I like Dennis's voice, and I think it's just an interesting change of pace for the record. It's kind of like a song from like Ecclesiastes. Which isn't the first time that I felt that from this record. So that's kind of an interesting theme that I feel like kind of carries out. But yeah, not my favorite track, but I don't mind it.
Moving on to Litmus. Ty, how'd you feel about Litmus?
I love this song. I think this song is a very underrated Five Hour and Frenzy song. I don't think it gets talked about much. There was a period of time where, I mean, it wasn't a long period of time. It was probably like 3 months, but like there was a 3-month period of time when I was in high school where I would have been like, this is my favorite song on the record.
Wow.
And I feel like anyone who has ever been in a Christian band or Christian in a band or whatever you want to say, and that has been told that they're not Christian enough, I think can really feel this song a lot. I don't know. I love this song.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I love the punk again. But yeah, just it's so interesting being a band in their position, and I feel like we've talked about this with the earlier stuff. But being a band in their position, and just like you've got your second record, which is probably your riskiest record of your career, and like you're just willing to like tank it all, like going after the music industry. But I feel like that just takes guts, and so yeah, a song about Pharisees in the music industry, I just feel like it's a really valuable and important message. So glad they brought attention to it.
Yeah, I feel like I really like this track, and is like for ska, with all of the like silliness and goofiness you can get, I feel like the horns really work whenever you're doing this like in your face. Like I think of like the OC Supertones, and that was always the stuff that I gravitated more towards, was more of the stuff where it's like you're just like being like very in your face, being very honest, versus the stuff where it's like a calmer. So I really, really love this track.
Yeah. All right. Track 11. This is a big one. Oh Canada. Ty, what are your thoughts on Oh Canada?
Sorry, you just your computer just kind of froze on me or something. I didn't hear what you were saying.
Track number 11, Oh Canada. What are your thoughts on Oh Canada?
Okay. I mean, this is what I wrote, and I kind of feel bad about this. I love this song, but I just don't have much to say about it. It's fun. I think it's very fun. But there's one thing I went back and before the episode, like I went back and listened to this record again while reading the lyrics on genius.com. Because for me, I never read lyrics. Like I just usually, I'm not sure of the lyrics of any of my favorite songs. Like I have a good guess as to what they are.
Yeah.
And this song is an example of that. Like I thought for the past 20 years, almost 20 years, that I've known the lyrics to this song. And then there's that line toward the end, at the end of the bridge, where he says, "And Slurpees made from venison, that's deer."
That's deer.
And it is deer. And it's funny. But this whole time I just thought he said that's here. Like we have that here in Canada. And so, but then when I read it this time, I was like, wait, he's saying that's deer? I was like, that's way better. And so I don't know. That's like my only note for the song. Like I discovered that lyric like a week ago for the first time.
I find that funny because last week, me and Joel were talking about like whenever something comes out, I love going and looking at the lyrics. And like there's this one band I really like called Don Quixote's Horse, and I was mentioning to Joel that I was like, man, it like this is what makes me like upset, is what when you have like booklets with CDs, you can look, but then sometimes it's like, oh, you want to like look up their like booklets or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. I'll see if I can contact them and maybe see if they can start sending out booklets. But
their lyrics are bad.
But I like this. I think that out of the like the comedy songs or whatever, this was probably like my favorite out of them. And I mean, maybe it's just more of like you going back to like the ones where it's like, where's Micah? It's like you have to know like, okay, here's information. Whereas I feel like the Canada, it's like most of it's more generic maybe for it. So yeah.
This song's incredible to me, and it has no depth or no anything to it, but it's just so fun and so goofy. And the guitar line is just like it's so stinking good. Like it's too good to be on a record, really. And so Reese, I feel like his vocals shine on this song really well. And I love that like the bridge, like you feel like, oh, this is the moment where things are going to get serious. And and then you get the venison deer thing, but it's like everything comes down to the bass, and it's like, all right, this is the serious moment, and then Slurpee's made of venison. There's a this song has a point in my history where when I was in college at Mississippi College in Clinton, where Ty grew up, I was at a college dance at some point, and I was there with a bunch of my friends, and I don't even remember what, but we somehow convinced the DJ to play "Oh Canada" at the college dance, and we just opened up a skanking pit in the middle of the floor, and yeah, it was awesome. So it has a special place in my heart because of that. So
this song did form many of my early beliefs about the country of Canada. Everything I knew about the country of Canada came from this song.
Did you know that William Shatner is a native citizen?
Yeah. I remember the first time we went to Canada in Jonezetta, like the first Canadian I found, I was like, I have a lot of questions for you. This song.
That's so funny. All right. Track 12, Most Likely to Succeed. Brandon, what did you think about this one?
I liked it. I think that for me, I think the second half of the album, aside from Kitty Doggy, because I'll give that the first half. I think the second half has been a lot stronger, or maybe it was just stuff that it kind of like what I expected more. But I liked it. I really liked the chorus and just the overall kind of flow of I guess it'd be maybe like the pre-chorus and the chorus. Especially stood out to me.
Yeah. Sorry.
I love this song. I think the melody, I think the chorus melody is so good. It's just a super strong vocal melody. I love it. It really kind of that kind of makes the song for me, that vocal melody. I wrote a note on here for this song that I wrote, the lyrics are a bit conflicting, and I don't know what I meant by that. So if that means anything to you guys, you can help me out there.
I don't know.
I don't know what I meant by that.
It's certainly an interesting song, like calling out the most likely to succeed, the popular kids. And so I have no idea, but yeah, I think it's a good song. It's not one of my favorites from the record, but it does lead into my favorite song on our newest album ever, which is
100%
track number 13, Every New Day. Ty, tell us about Every New Day.
Man, this is the best song. It's the best song on the record. It's one of my favorite songs, period, of all time. I have on at least 2 occasions attempted to go to a tattoo shop and get the ending lyrics to this song tattooed on my body, and I've been told it's too long. and they've been like, you got to cut some of it out. And I'm just like, I don't have any part of it I want to cut out. It's let me see. I think again, the song shows how well read Reese Roper is. Just the lyrics are, all these great literary references. It's beautiful poetry. It's beautiful prayer. And then, I loved, one of my favorite things about this band was when I found out they were breaking up. And they announced that they were going to do a final record that they were only going to sell at shows for a while. And so I went and saw them at Cornerstone that year. I think it's probably 2004 maybe. And so I remember buying the final record at Cornerstone. And I remember on the way home listening to it, and it gets to the last song, which is On Distant Shores. And at the end of that song, they bring back the end of Every New Day. And Every New Day was famously like the song they closed every show with.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was so incredible that they decided to close their final album with it as well. I mean, I can't say enough about this song. I still listen to it anytime I'm feeling a bit hopeless or something like that. It's one of the first songs I go to listen to. I love it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think this is the best Five Iron Frenzy song. Maybe that's just nostalgia and the moments that it's like, I feel like recentered me and brought me through stuff in my life. But the lyrics are incredible. It has the best bridge, definitely of any Five Iron song, but I would put it up there against pretty much any song out there. This song is like everything. The gospel is so clear in it in such a beautiful way. I told the story, I think, earlier on the podcast, but went to Furnace Fest 2021, the first year they brought it back. And no, I'm sorry, this was a couple of years ago. Anyways, and Five Iron played, and there's just obviously a lot of people out there that have kind of walked away from their faith, but I remember Five Iron closed with Every New Day, and there was a girl that posted on the Furnace Fest page. She said, I haven't believed in Jesus in a long time, but after watching Five Iron play Every New Day, I want to believe again. And I just feel like that's the hope that's found in this song. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, I felt like everything, like it was firing on all cylinders. Like I feel like it was just like everything there. The lyrics were there, the horns added to it. I feel like it was a really good like ending. And I feel like it's also cool just to kind of hear the story of like, oh, this ended songs and all. Because in the past, sometimes I'm like, man, this is the coolest song they've ever done, and then you find out like the whole fan base hates that song, or like so like it's always cool when it's like, okay, cool, like the other people that love the band also love this song. So I feel like, you know, it's just cool when I go back to whenever you end an album and you're ending on a cool note, not only with that but also the hidden track in there where you stick around. Because what's funny is like I feel like whenever you buy like a CD or cassette, you'd always like sit around waiting for something to happen. But then like whenever you stream this, now you're just like, okay, why is this track 10 minutes long? And then you just fast forward and you're like, okay, that's what's at the end of this. And so I feel like it was funny just thinking as a kid where you're waiting to see if there's a hidden track, whereas now you just like, you know, there's already a prize there. So
Yeah, it's obviously not a listed track, but Kingdom of the Dinosaurs at the end is a Five Iron classic. I would put it personally above Kitty Doggy, but I get that it's harder to listen to because you gotta sit through some silence.
My old ska band, We're Not Ugly, had we had a secret track on our EP that no one's ever heard. That was a direct, I was gonna say directly influenced, but I would say more directly ripped off from Kingdom of the Dinosaurs, but it was called Crazy Raccoon Get Out of My Tree. And yeah, it's a great secret track back in the days when we had secret tracks.
I love that. All right, so we've kind of walked through the tracks on this one. It's time for us to give kind of our final ratings and just final thoughts to our newest album ever, by Five Iron Frenzy. I'll go first, just to kind of get us started. So for me, I love this record. I loved Upbeats and Beatdowns, their first album when it came out. But for me, this album just hit on a different level. And it took me just to places that I feel like Christian music hadn't taken me before, when I first heard it, especially with like Every New Day on it. And so this one will always hold like a really special place in my heart. I don't think it's a perfect record, but it is up there for me. And so for me, I'm going to give our newest album ever a 4.4 on the 5-point scale.
You want to go or you want me to go, Brandon?
Yeah, I can go. I think for me, it's I was joking with Joel that I feel like it's just gotten better with every listen. So I think for right now, as someone who like doesn't really, I guess, get a lot of the references or really know a lot of the lore of the band, like it's something exciting getting to dive more into it. So I think that for right now, like I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, but I guess whenever we do like another review next year, it'll probably just be raised up to like a 5 or a 6. At this rate, it will be like a 20 out of 5 in just a year or whatever. But no, I feel like it's it was cool to finally get to dive into 5 Iron and get to like check out what they're all about.
Yeah, I will say it's not my favorite 5 Iron record. I love it a bunch, but it's not even my favorite record. And so, but it has my favorite song on it. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't man, I don't even know if I could pick a favorite 5 Iron record. It'd be really difficult for me. Kind of depends on the mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of have two ratings, you know. The rate, my heart rating, how I rate this song in my heart is I think a 4.4 is fair for that. I think that's where it is. I did the like mathematical thing where I rated each song and then I came out to an average at the end. And so my sort of mathematical rating is a 3.6, which I still feel is pretty fair for this record. Like when I think about just like all the records I really love, where would I place this record? And I feel like 3.6 is probably a fair thing, a fair rating for it. But I also feel that I love it more than calling it a 3.6. So yeah, it's somewhere in there for me.
That's really good. Yeah, it's a great one. For sure. And so I'm thankful that we got to walk through this record. Our first 5 Iron album, there's been a lot of people waiting on this to happen. And so I'm excited to be able to get into more of them later. But let's transition real quick into the lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
I don't think the lyric of the week could be anything other than the bridge to Every New Day. So man versus himself, man versus machine, man versus the world, mankind versus me. The struggles go on, the wisdom I lack. The burdens keep piling up on my back. So hard to breathe, to take the next step. The mountain is high, I wait in the depths, yearning for grace and hoping for peace. Dear God, increase. Healing hands of God, have mercy on our unclean souls once again. Jesus Christ, light of the world, burning bright within our hearts forever. Freedom means love without condition, without a beginning or an end. Here's my heart. Let it be forever yours. Only you can make every new day seem so new. That's the longest lyric of the week so far, but I didn't know how to break it up.
Yeah, I don't either. Tattoo shop guys won't have it when I tell them that's what the tattoo I want. They're like, we could put it on your whole back. I'm like, no, not doing that.
Yeah, maybe the last line, only you can make every new day seem so new. Even that's long, but I get it. All right. Well, Ty, again, I know we talked about this last episode you were on, but I know people can find you in your current music project, Don Quixote's Horse. You have a new single out. Anything you want to say about that?
It is it's a song that I've just kind of felt like I needed to write. I care very deeply about my faith as a Christian. I care very deeply about Jesus, and it really hurts me to see his name used for purposes of gaining power, or for purposes of building up a national identity that says others are less than yourself. And
it's a little 5 Iron-esque.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say that 5 Iron has greatly influenced me as the way I think about my Christian faith and how it relates to where I live. And so, yeah, it's just kind of my response to that. I don't know if I've ever felt compelled to write a song before, the way I felt compelled to write that one. And it's fine. It's okay. I'm not a great songwriter, but if you want to go listen to it, go listen to it on all the things that you listen to music on.
That's awesome. Well, dude, we're so thankful to have you here with us again for the second time. And so thanks for taking some time to walk through this with us. I love that you love this album and that we got the chance to talk about it together. And so that's just a great joy. So thank you.
Hey, man, thank you guys. I'm here for any 5 Iron record you want to talk about. And Brandon, same. I'm here for any Me Without You record you want to talk about, because they're also they're on my Mount Rushmore of best bands to ever exist. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, for all you guys, thanks for joining us this week. Obviously, you can find us on all the places on socials. We'd love it if you subscribe to the podcast and maybe leave us a review. And we will look forward to seeing you back with us next week.
Hey, are you listening?